Hello, my name is Alexandra Lewis.
And my name is Nara Roya, and today we're going to be giving a presentation on Chapter 16 from J. Heinrichs. Thank you for arguing. Call a foul.
A brief overview of what we'll be discussing today. First, we're going to talk about turning an argument into a fight. Secondly, we're going to discuss fallacies and how they can be beneficial to you. And thirdly, we are going to discuss argument fouls and how to avoid them. So, a quick overview. In Chapter 16 of Thank You for Arguing by Jane Heinrichs, the idea that fallacies, argument, and fouls intersect is explored. So, when you avoid rhetorical fouls in an argument, it is then permissible to sometimes use fallacies. So we're going to talk about how you can avoid fouls and how you can use fallacies to your advantage.
So, what is the biggest foul in rhetoric? This is turning an argument into a fight. Now, these words may sound like synonyms, but an argument can employ rhetorical tactics and reach a good conclusion, whereas in a fight, it's often just banter, and it results in disagreement or no conclusion, and it can just get messy. So a prime example of this is Alexandra Lewis. She's always fighting people for no reason. She's a sophist.
I am not.
Okay, there we go. So, to quote J. Heinrichs himself,
As long as you stick to an argument, making a genuine attempt to persuade instead of score points, rhetoric lets you get away with many fallacies that formal logic forbids.
so maybe fallacies aren't so bad after all.
A couple examples of fallacies you can use in informal arguments is firstly the fallacy of power, which states that because someone in power wants it, it's right. And secondly, the appeal to popularity, which states that something must be true if most people think it's true.
So let's show some examples of this. Firstly, the fallacy of power.
I say let it die. Let it die, let it die. Let it shrivel up and come on, who's with me, huh?
In this example, President O'Hare's argument of letting the tree die is simply powered by the fact that he is the president and he believes that his opinion should dictate what the people want. And however, this is an example of this fallacy of power failing. If used strategically, the fallacy of power can be effective in an argument. And here's an example for the appeal to popularity. In this example, we can see that the appeal to popularity with the phrase everybody needs a need has allowed this product to become very popular and has helped the main character in the Lorax increase his profit. So this is an effective example of the appeal to popularity, and this can often be effective in sales or other examples of rhetorical argument.
The only real foul in deliberative argument is arguing the inarguable, and a prime example of this is saying that Petrick's star is a seahorse.
Which is clearly not a fact, and it cannot be argued. So, what are some more practical examples of this that you might see in everyday life? So we have the 4 terrible fouls.
The first would be wrong tense, secondly, humiliation, thirdly, the right way, and lastly, truthiness. So, to start, the foul of wrong tense is possibly the most common one seen, and this occurs when you are speaking in the present tense and not in the future tense, which is a major foul. This is not the way argument should be done because it's hard to make a future choice when you're arguing in the present tense. So, how you can avoid this foul? Using it and when other people use it against you. You want to first redirect the conversation into the future tense and avoid using the present tense at all. So focus solely on what's to come instead of what is happening right now. For example, if I were to say, I just can't believe in ghosts. They've just never shown up when I need to see them. Like right now, we're in a creepy old house and there's no ghost.
Well, just because there are no ghosts right now doesn't mean there won't be ghosts in the future.
Nope, I refuse. They simply do not exist.
Maybe expand your mind just a little bit to the possibility that ghosts actually do exist. Moving on, we have the foul of humiliation. So this is arguing for the sake of humiliating one's opponent, and humiliation is often just banter without arguing. Did you have something to say?
Why should anyone trust what you're saying, seeing that you got a 60 on the last quiz in argument theory?
So this is an example of humiliation. Alexandra's only reason for this claim is to humiliate me, and it's not a valid argument as to why my presentation should not be adhered to. So another example of this is innuendos. These are little remarks about, or like insinuations about one's opponent.
Nice to see you brush your hair for this presentation.
I brush my hair all the time, actually, and this innuendo is only intended to humiliate me. So it is important to attack your opponent's ethos, but it is a foul to insult them just to debase them, and knowing the important can make a difference in your argument.
Next, we have the foul of the right way. So this commits a rhetorical foul because it takes away the choice that your opponent would have. So there's a couple ways you can combat this foul. Firstly, you can call out the foul when someone uses it against you. You can bring the argument to an abrupt close, or you can make the choice not to argue at all. So here's a quick example of this.
The only right way to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is to throw it in the trash.
First of all, there is no right way to eat anything, but second of all, I like peanut butter jelly, so I don't want to hear it.
The last vowel we have here is truthiness. This is the tendency to rely on whatever sounds truthiest instead of the facts and statistics. This often happens in our society and politics as well, as people seek out a single incident that confirms their opinion instead of holistically looking at all the evidence out there. A common example of this is climate change.
Oh my god, don't even get me started.
What?
The climate has always been changing. It's happened throughout history. We have more important things to worry about.
And what about the insurmountable evidence supporting its existence?
Well, that research doesn't align with my beliefs.
Alas, we have another victim of truthiness.
To conclude, to sum everything up, sometimes it's okay to use fallacies when you avoid rhetorical fallacy, even though it's not normally acceptable in formal logic. In informal logic, when fouls are in play from your opponent, it's okay for you to sometimes use fallacies. Thank you for listening.